Good to go.
So this is picking up our audio now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Right.
And then, oh, there it goes. That's how I adjust the slides. Perfect.
Okay. All right. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Can you hear us okay?
Yes, good morning.
Awesome. Thank you.
So thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Harleen, and we're excited to talk to you today about campus event planning from the very first idea all the way through post-event wrap-up. This session is designed for anyone who plans, supports, or assists with events on campus, whether the events are for students, departments, or external partners.
And I'm Holly Stone, and today I'm going to walk you through the full event life cycle, talk about how to prepare, how to plan, promote, perform, and post-event. So we're going to focus on how to identify services that need coordination, how to avoid common pitfalls, and to make sure your event is compliant, accessible, and successful. And at any point throughout this presentation, if you have questions, just raise your hand or type the question into the chat. And when Harleen and I are not presenting, the other one will be monitoring the chat for questions.
So by the end of the session, you should be able to understand the full campus event planning workflow, identify key milestones and stakeholders, coordinate venues, services, and logistics, and know which campus tools and policies exist to support your work.
And we're going to start with a quick icebreaker. And if you could just type into the chat, what is your biggest event planning challenge? If you could give us some examples of some of your challenges, we would love to know. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to do that. All right, securing proper transportation. Oh, that's a good one. Absolutely. Anyone else have any challenges? All right, cost of food, getting responses to emails I've sent about scheduling rooms, layouts of the events, planning the layouts. Excellent. So we're seeing some themes here.
Yeah, we're noticing that a lot of it is layout, space layouts, and that's kind of and other logistical planning, and that's the framework of what we're talking about today. The only thing we can't really help you with is your budget.
Yep. So what we're looking for is to think of this in phases in terms of you're going to prepare for your event, you're going to plan, you're going to promote, and then perform the day of. That's when you're actually going to be doing all of the on-site execution of the event and post-event. Each phase is going to build upon the last phase. So skipping one usually means that stress level is going to add up as you go on.
So step one is prepare. So before you've even reserved anything or booked anything, these are items you want to consider, because some of these items that you think about are what should drive the decisions you make when you're event planning. So successful event starts with preparation. Ask yourself, what's the purpose or goal of the event? Who's the intended audience? And what does success look like? From there, you can identify loose milestones like a draft itinerary, who your presenter is and what their speaker needs might be, any room and tech requirements, budgets and funding sources, as well as looking at what key deadlines are for campus partners.
Yes, and once you've kind of gone through all that, we are happy to work with you on identifying appropriate venues. So things to consider when you're looking at a venue is accessibility. What are the ADA routes? What are the seating look like? Where are the nearest restrooms? If anyone was able to attend the accessibility summit, they did a really great job in their email of putting all of that information together and summarizing, which was fantastic. That is a goal that we would all love to strive for when we're sending out that communication. We want to look at technology needs. What are your AV? Is it hybrid event? Is it in person? Is it all online? Do you need Wi-Fi for any guest presenters or any attendees? What is your room layout? What is the flow of the event? So we want to understand what your needs are, and we can help best build the program to meet those needs? And then what is that proximity to the restrooms and to parking? So where are they coming from? Where's the room? How do we build in signage to get people to your event and help them find the restrooms? Make sure there's accessible restrooms depending on the nature of your event as well.
Depending on your event type, there are also unique creative spaces that could be available for you. Considering if it's a lecture versus a reception, a conference or a performance, is it meant for youth or the public? By understanding your different event goals, we can identify unique venue options to fit your needs. It's always best to coordinate early to avoid conflicts, especially during peak academic time. And that also brings us to our plan phase. The first thing to consider when planning an event is if you're an internal or external group. Internal events like department retreats or committee meetings typically involve fewer approvals and simpler logistics compared to external groups.
External conferences or community events require additional planning that can involve things like contracts, revocable permits, insurance requirements, parking and security planning, clear points of contact. So if you've ever done an event that includes youth, anyone under the age of 17 has to abide by the SUNY Youth Protection Policy. So it does require some extra planning, longer timelines when you're doing external events.
When working with many partners to plan an event, it helps to clarify who makes decisions, who communicates updates, and to route information through one main event coordinator, which brings us to the day of equipment setup and staffing.
Yes, so logistics are where the planning becomes visible. You always want to confirm those logistics and you want to talk through them prior to. So in that planning phase, and then you come back to wanting to do this setup. So as you put in the chat, securing transportation, we can help research transportation. We can talk to you about the flow of your transportation. Does it disrupt any current transportation? If you have, say, a concert coming in and you have a large bus, where does that parking happen on campus? Especially if it's during a class day, we're happy to work through some of those. We can't help with the price of auxiliary services, but we can certainly make sure that there are tables available for that food to be set up on. We can make sure that if you need tablecloths reserved for those tables, we can work with you on that. We can work with you on making sure that you have enough food for the amount of attendees you have. Maybe build in some break times, refresh times, things such as that. We always want to talk about setup times. And when we talk setups, there's really two different parts to setup. There's our setup to make sure that the room or the venue is ready to go. And then there's your setup where you're coming in to do what you need to do. And that might be you need to lay out some name tags or you need to put on some centerpieces. So when we have those planning meetings, we want to talk through, what is it? What time do you need us to have the room ready by? And then what time do you need to get in the room to do your part of the setup? What time do you want to arrive for speakers and staff? So again, we're going to ask you, what is your arrival time? Do you have any needs for rehearsals or run throughs? So if you've got student speakers or you've got a keynote speaker, you want to test those microphones, you want to run their PowerPoint through in advance. We always encourage that. Technology works fantastic till it doesn't. And we always want to give you that opportunity for a run through if we can. What time do you want those doors open? Do you have a registration where you need that? Do you need to put up QR codes? Do you need signage to your event? Then we get the doors open. What time does the event actually start? And what time does it end? And we always build in some extra time on the end if it's a larger event to make sure that, if things are going really well and people are having a great time, we don't want a hard stop for you. We want you to be able to continue that event until it naturally ends. And then after the event's over, we want to look at that breakdown and clean up responsibilities. If you've brought in centerpieces, we want to make sure that those go back with you. If you've put up your own signage, we want to make sure that you get to take that back with you. It might be something that you're using every year or every time you're holding those events.
Our recommendations are to use checklists, use timelines, and to assign ownership. So somebody is clearly responsible for each task. Oh, sorry, I went too fast.
No.
Gotta go back one. Okay. Other things to consider are event flow and contingency planning. So like Holly mentioned before, smooth events have a clear check-in process. You know your session transitions, your speakers have the tech support that they need, and attendee movement is taken into consideration once they're at the event as well.
Yep, and always plan for those contingencies, so, if anyone here has experienced something that hasn't gone right, whether you've attended an event, whether you are planning an event, make sure you talk about inclement weather. We're here in Oswego, everybody knows snow can be a factor, wind can be a factor, cold can be a factor. So even in nice weather, we've had events outdoors that we've had to move indoors due to wind factors. Technology failures, like we mentioned earlier, that technology is fantastic till it doesn't work. So if you're building in, a big part of your event includes technology, build in break time, that gives us time to troubleshoot. Maybe we break early to troubleshoot instead of delaying the entire event. So we're happy to work with you to kind of work through some of that logistical planning. If your speaker is flying in and has a flight delay, or you want to talk to the speaker about that flight time, you don't want to just give an hour's, transition time on flights when you're coming in anytime from probably November through March, you want to build in that. If they're driving in, you still want to give yourself some time in case we end up with a state of emergencies, things like that, an accident on the highway, anything. We always say if you plan for it, that contingency, sorry, the word is catching me. That planning is turning a crisis into a pivot. So that stress level is going to go way down. You've already considered it. You're just going to your plan B, and we're here to help you every step of the way. Next up, we're going to talk about the compliance, safety, and accessibility. So events must comply with campus policies, and that can include policies such as youth protection, which is the requirement for any child under the age of 17. ADA accommodations and accessible communication. As everyone's heard, Title II is coming up very quickly, will be something that we all have to consider starting in April. And then safety and emergency protocols. We've got fire safety protocols that we need to abide by. We can't be blocking emergency exits, can't necessarily have lit candles. In certain rooms, we can't allow things, there's beam detectors, so we can't have things that might obstruct the beam detectors, trigger the fire alarms. And the event and approval process, we want to make sure that you're following that process so that you can have a safe and fun event.
Compliance, safety, and accessibility isn't an add-on. It should be part of the planning process from day one. If you ask early about accommodations, different routes, seating, ADA communication needs, that opens up the different things that we can do to support your event. And that also brings us to service coordination, because most events rely on campus partners.
And we have a lot of campus partners here at Oswego, and they are fantastic to work with. And we are often in campus events and conference services happy to be that conduit for you. So it may include contacting CTS, Campus Technology Services, for extra microphones, working with them to ensure that if somebody needs a secure login, that they have the Wi-Fi needed. It might be working with university police for specific parking or security. Working with facilities to make sure things are clean, to make sure steps and pathways are clear during snow times. Working with catering or other outside vendors. We work with things like student engagement or Res Life and Housing a lot, where they bring in what we call novelty events or inflatables. So working through those contracts, making sure we have the power needs, making sure we have the tables that they need. Signage and wayfinding, we want to make sure that people can get to where they want to go, especially if they're not familiar with campus. So even if it's a campus sponsored event, a lot of times we do open it up to the community as the hometown university. So we want to make sure that people are able to find that, and we encourage that branding all the way through your process. So when your invitations go out, your social media, any signage that we do on your behalf, we always say, send us what your logo looks like, send us your coloring. We want to make sure that everything's looking consistent for you. And then the day of the event, that sales and door management, we want to make sure that your tickets are taken care of, that people are being scanned in appropriately. So we want to make sure that clear deadlines are shared and expectations are met. It makes these partnerships very successful if all of that's taken care of.
And now that you've got all your I's dotted and T's crossed, it's time to promote your event. There are multiple campus portals you can use to promote your event, such as the Oswego Today newsletter, the event calendar, Laker Life, digital signage, affiliated social media accounts, print media, and more. Consider your audience and use the appropriate platform. And you should also consider what platform you're using and make sure that the content you've developed is appropriate for that platform. So your social media posts might not be the same as your digital signage. People need to see it on a bigger scale when they're walking past a screen, rather than on their phone when they're scrolling through.
Yep. And just another piece of that, depending on your venue, you might also want to tailor your presentation. So for example, the arena, the use of the Jumbotron is going to be a different format than maybe your standard classroom would. And we're happy to work with you and help identify what those needs are for presentations so that you're not getting there. We're putting it up and the format is looking squished or cut off or just not as best as it could be looking. We want it to be perfect for your event. So you've done all the steps, you've now done your promotion, now it's the day of, you're ready to perform during the event. So it's time for the event. You've coordinated with those campus partners, or we've worked with you to coordinate that. Having that clearly defined itinerary will help all of your stakeholders be informed and work off that same schedule. So you want to make sure that that itinerary is laid out. And it should be very detailed from, arrival right through who's responsible for what. When you're working with a planning committee, it's essential that everyone's on the same page to avoid those delays and miscommunications. So want to make sure everyone's got that same itinerary, that you have a clear communication method identified. So if something does come up, is it a group chat? Is it a group text? Is it something Teams? Everyone has their own preferences, but make sure you have something identified as a way to communicate. And then the itinerary is going to serve as your roadmap for the event. It's going to help translate that planning into a well-executed experience for everyone involved. Right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to work on key campus tools for assessment. So now you're going to transition into your post-event. Multiple layers to assessment. Internally, a post-event debrief meeting allows for your group, if you've had a planning group, to really sit together and discuss event successes and acknowledge room for improvement for future events. So you're gonna, talk about the pros and cons, what went well, what could be improved upon. What did you not consider? What could we help to make things, what could we do to help make things better as campus events and conference services? It may be things like, how was catering? Did you have too much food? Did you not have enough food? How was the transition time during your event? So those are internal amongst the coordinators of the event. And then you want to look at also doing evaluations for your attendees. So what could you do for your attendees? You could use a couple of opportunities here on campus, such as box office services or Laker Life. And those are two tools that you can send surveys through and get that feedback from your attendees. Box office services also support your ticketing and registration, your capacity management and reporting, and it can send transactional emails and texts to ticket holders before or after your event to share information to get feedback. I'm going to let Harley maybe elaborate a little bit more on that piece.
Yes, so the ticketing software does let us contact all of the event holders, anybody who purchased, not event holders, ticket holders, anyone who purchased a ticket can be sent a follow-up survey to see what their audience thought. Laker Life is also another platform you can use to get survey feedback post-event. And our recommendation and when asking for feedback is to only ask questions that are within your control. Asking too many questions will lead to a higher fall-off rate for participants, and keeping your survey brief and relevant to the actions you're able to take are what's going to help you improve your event for next time.
And then we have several campus portals or softwares that are also available that we wanted you to know. So most of the time, if you're reserving space, people are familiar with EMS. That is the platform that we use for campus scheduling. And if you ever have questions about EMS, you're welcome to reach out to us. Or if it's a larger event that you're planning and it doesn't work well to put it into EMS, you're certainly welcome to email me directly and say, I have this idea about this large conference, or I want to bring in this keynote speaker, or I have something that has multiple rooms that are involved. We're happy to meet with you first to really talk through what that looks like, what those spaces are, and how do we put that all together for you. So EMS does talk about the room reservations and the box office for ticket sales. If you do have questions about how to use that EMS portal, you do go to ems.oswego or events.oswego.edu, and that will take you to the EMS portal where you log in and you have access to the different templates that you can reserve. So it could be academic related activities, or you may want to do a planning session or a review for a class, or it may be you want to promote something and you want to reserve a table. So there's a tabling template, or there's an event space that includes things like Sheldon Ballroom. The arena is not on a template. That is a very specific event because of the ice and logistics involved. That would be something that might come directly to me. Hewitt Ballroom is not on the template yet. We're working towards that. We're going to create a very specific one because that's going to come with some additional questions that don't exist on our current templates. So if Hewitt Ballroom is something you're considering, please reach out to me directly and I'd be happy to work through anything that you're looking to plan in there. Box office.
Yes, next, Kelly Cullinan from the box office is going to talk about the migration to a new ticketing platform.
We are happy to announce, good morning, folks, that we are in the process of migrating to a new ticketing platform called eTix. It's going to, number one, make it much easier as a customer. One of our favorite features is that you will now be able to add your tickets to a Google or Apple wallet. Easy to manage multiple tickets as you buy lots of things or claim lots of free tickets on campus. It's a seamless way to be able to manage your ticket portfolio. Speaking specifically to each of you as event planners, there will be various features that will give you upsales. And by that, I mean, you might want to be able to add a contribution. I'll pick on my friend Emily and Crystal here for our Waterman Theater. You may want to add in there an opportunity to become an Oswego patron. Or you may want to, hello, Miss Crystal, she checked in. You may want to be able to make a contribution to the Theater Excellence Fund. You know, you're so excited and you're so motivated by a show. So there's opportunities within this new platform to build upon your audience base and your bottom line, help to maybe sell a t-shirt that goes along with it. So there's various features that I hope each of you will reach out to us on how we might be able to maximize and profit-wise on the customers that you have while they're experiencing their ticket purchase. Again, follow up on being able to send out and push those communications after the fact, and take and distill all of the information that both Holly and Harleen had in your prep to be able to prepare a customer to best experience the event that you're hosting seamlessly. Don't hesitate to reach out on how we can help you.
Thanks.
And another platform that we do have available is Laker Life, and what that one?
Yeah, I got that one already.
Oh, okay, we're good on Laker Life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I lost where my mouse
That's
is.
okay. No, I have back to okay.
So if you're thinking, wow, we've thrown a lot of information out there, don't worry, we made worksheets that will take you through all of these steps. And these worksheets will be uploaded to the CECS Laker Life page. They take you through the 5 Ps of event planning. So you have a different one for prepare, plan, promote, and perform. And we hope that these help you in the event planning process. We've included QR codes to like specific resources that might go with something that you're planning. So if you're looking at ADA resources, we have the QR code right next to ADA resources, so you can look that up and see what pertains to your event.
And key takeaways from this presentation, we want to remind you to start with that event goal. You really want to understand the why. Why are you doing your event? That'll help drive everything else. You want to plan early and document those decisions. So definitely make sure everyone's involved. If it's a committee event or if there's a group of people, everybody's communicating and everybody's on the same page. Coordinate those services, work with us. We'll make sure that we get those taken care of. Understand the policies and how they might apply or impact your event and your audience. Build accessibility, safety into every step. We're happy to work with you and walk you through that. Leverage these campus tools and partners. We have so much support on this campus. We're very fortunate that a lot of our campus partners are excellent to work with. So make sure you're leveraging that during the planning process, and it could help to elevate and enhance your event to really bring it to that level that we want it to be. And then we want to look at looking at the group of folks here, there's a lot of seasoned event planners on this page that I'm seeing today. So I know Crystal does a lot of events. I know Emily does, both Emily's and Sarah. I know Faith has a hand in things. So if you want to share from your perspectives, what opportunities do you feel like there are that can enhance the event experience? Or if you have specific questions that we can answer. We wanted to leave quite a bit of time at the end of this just to really go through and talk through any questions and answers.
I have a question, Holly. As you're aware, theater's a bit of a collaborative group, and so sometimes you get emails from me, and sometimes you get emails from Cole or Judy, or who's to say? Is there a way? So, for instance, we have Drama Fest coming up this upcoming semester, and I think you've talked to Cole. Is there a way I can go in, or where can I go to double check? Like, yes, we have our space reserved for like our lunch and our dinner, because I'm pretty sure we do, but I have trust issues.
Yes, you do. And what I can do is I can note that. And when I send the confirmation to Cole, if there's certain people that want, he could just say, could you please include Crystal, or could you
Awesome.
add these people as a CC to this confirmation? Then you all have
Perfect.
that copy. But I will
Great.
forward that to you.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Holly.
You're welcome. Other questions? Let me just go through the chat here again.
Hi, it's Sarah Wiseman.
Hi, Sarah.
Question for you. So we have a lot of what I'm going to call unofficial events, events that don't go through your office. So do those events need to be registered with you in any way? Does putting them on the event calendar ensure notification in the event of like inclement weather closings? Like, what do we need to be thinking about as we schedule, I'm going to say again, unofficial events that don't go through your office?
No, and that is a fantastic question. It does not have a clear-cut answer, so it definitely is something that we recognize happens, and it's not just your area. We see it, Res Life does a lot of programming in the residence halls. Obviously, the theater does. So there's many different areas on campus that don't work through EMS because their spaces aren't in EMS, and we recognize that. Maybe getting together and identifying what those contingencies are or those groups are. And that could be something that when we do have that state of emergency, they're added to that action plan of, what is it? Who do we really need to reach out to? What's that bigger picture of who we need to reach out to make sure we're not missing anyone as we're looking to make adjustments. If there are things that you ever did need assistance with, and I think you guys have done a great job with resources, maybe a coat rack or tables and chairs or something along those lines to support something that you have in your area, we're certainly happy to talk through what that might look like and how we could support that. If there were concerns, would this maybe conflict with something else going on? We could share certain reports with you. So if you're like, I want to do this, but make sure we're not on an open house day, or I would love to do this on an open house day as an add-on for folks to be able to see what we're doing on campus, we could share those dates with you. So I think there's always that room for improvement, room to do better, but I don't think there's a clear-cut pathway right now of if you're doing something here in Penfield that someone's working directly with you, it's not going to show up on EMS. The event calendar would promote it to the community or the campus community, but it does not have a direct tie back to our area, if that makes sense. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, so it sounds, just to restate my understanding, then it sounds like this. So there is no official process for coordinating it with you. So we'll continue doing that informally. And then it sounds like also there is no requirement to kind of like register our event with you if we're not using your services.
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
thanks. Well, we will continue coordinating with you because it
Okay.
is in everyone's best interest.
Yes, and I'm answering from the event side of things, so I'm gonna let Harley and Kelly see if there's anything ticketing wise that might.
I just wanted to add that CECS has been working on an inclement weather plan so that if there is like a state of emergency, there are like preset, like this is what's absolutely going to happen, and what you can expect CECS to do in the case of inclement weather in the campus, like maybe something's closing down. And that will be shared sometime this semester, and I believe it's going on our website. So that's something event hosts can refer back to and then kind of take cues from that.
Yep, that's a great. And it looks like Michael asking to join the campus events and conference services group. Does that cost money?
On Microlife?
I was gonna say, is that, yeah, could you elaborate a little bit more?
Like to join the Laker Life group for campus events and
Oh,
conferences?
the QR code on the slide before this. That one, worksheets. I scanned that and it took me to a page asking me to join campus events and conferences services membership closed, lifetime membership. They're asking me to join the group.
Oh, yeah, I think it's on Laker Life, and I don't think there's a cost, but we're gonna
Yeah,
confirm that
let
right
me
now.
double check this.
Go right in. We're checking right now.
I believe if you hit join, it should give you the single sign-on option, and then it's not going to charge you anything because it's the oswego.edu. Because that's what it does for me when I log in.
It
Is that it
says you
does say
must
like
select at
lifetime
least one
membership.
group. Please choose the groups you are signing into.
Yeah, so the way Laker Life
Um,
identifies us as groups.
So if you just, I think that's where you click. There's a little box to the right-hand side. No, it's the left-hand side. Oh no, it says membership closed. That's what you were mentioning before. Let me, I know for Laker Life, because I want this QR code to go to our Laker Life page so you can just follow us on Laker Life and it should be free. I will connect with Ashley in the SEL office about fixing this before we share the presentation.
And if it does get shared out, because I know it is recorded, I've got your email written down. We will contact you directly. And we can send it out to all of those that joined today to make sure you've got the corrected information on there. We are a little ahead of schedule, but are there any other questions? Are there ways that people?
Oh, sorry,
Go
I'll
ahead.
ask another one. You mentioned promotion as one of the P's in the process. Are I know that we as a campus have in the past have not yet achieved a one like events calendar that has all of the events, official, unofficial, that are going on campus. Are we any closer to that? Are all of the events that are registered with you put onto some kind of master calendar, or is it up to the event holder to put the event on the events calendar? And is the events calendar still the only one place to go, or the only place that may or may not be comprehensive? Sorry, that was very convoluted, but I suspect you all know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I would probably say the quick answer is no. Ideally, there seems like there should be one portal to funnel out an event announcement. I think you really still have to hit up the events calendar in our Marcom office Laker Life, which is really driven, if I'm speaking, mostly to students. And digital signage, obviously, to everything. So the short answer is no, to the best of my knowledge. I know that they in Marcom, they are still striving to achieve that. But at the immediate start of the spring semester, no.
Thank you.
Right, so it does sound like things that would enhance the experience have to do with marketing, financial opportunities. Is there something that you could utilize from us, something you were looking for specifically that we could review today? Okay, I'm gonna take that as a no. I'm not seeing any hands. Right, well, I know on this information, it does have Harleen and mine and Kelly's email, so if you do have any questions down the road, please don't hesitate to reach out. We are happy to answer any questions you have and always look forward to working with you.
There's our emails.
Yep, there's our email, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, with that note, we're gonna end a little bit early, but we thank you for taking your time today to spend with us. Happy
Wonderful
Friday.
presentation. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It should be this one.